Judith Blacklock and I've got a flower school in London. I've written 11 best-selling books. I'm the editor of a wonderful magazine called Hydrangeas. I believe I can teach anyone. All you need is a love, a passion for flowers, and I can teach you the rest. I'm going to show you how to dry flowers. In particular, I'm going to show you how to dry roses and hydrangea. Now, when you want to dry flowers, it's best to look at the colour and observe the colour, because flowers which are the true primary colours, such as this brilliant orange and this bright pink, they were the flowers the colour will remain and drain truest. If you're going to dry something that is dark, like this dark red rose, it will go darker. If you have something that's very pale, it will go lighter. So that the best ones to give a good show of colour are the ones that are closest to the primary. To do this, I am going to take the orange, because I think this is going to dry just heavenly. And I've got some that I dried earlier. With the roses, you want to take off the majority of the leaves. I prepared these earlier, and I do like the softening effect of the leaves around the flowers. It's almost as if you take all the leaves off a rose, it looks slightly undressed. But here I'm going to just take with my hands, there, and if there were any sharp thorns, I'd remove those as well. Let's just take that one off as well. And then I'm going to hold them together in the hand and stagger them slightly so they're at different lengths. And I cut them short. Really short. The stems aren't that attractive, and if you're hanging them up to dry, you find that it's much more attractive if you've got the flowering head showing rather than a long length of stem. So I then take twine. Garden twine is wonderful because it doesn't slip. One of the best things, believe it or not, for keeping the stems in place is to use tights or stockings, ones of course that have got a ladder in them. Cut them into strips because they expand and contract, and they are the ideal thing for hanging up if you've not got any twine. So I just take this short length, wrap it a couple of times around the stem ends, and you should always try with roses, don't do more than 10 at a time, ideally, because they need air to circulate around them. And another tip is make sure that you can see every petal of the rose. If it's too tight, they're going to dry, because when things dry, they will actually dry smaller. So if you've got it so that they peak of perfection when you dry them, you'll have a fine dried flower. And then, just like that, you can hook it over a hook, or you can hang it at the back of a door, and it will dry beautifully. The better the air circulation, the drier the air, the better they will dry. So don't put them in a damp airing cupboard. Don't put them into the basement, which has no heating, but just in somewhere where the air can circulate nicely. So that is how you would dry roses. I'm then going to show you how to dry hydrangea. To dry hydrangea, you need to pick them in the latest part of the year. So in October, November are ideal. That's when they're firm to the touch. I like to do it in the following way. I find that you have the best results. You want it to dry very slowly. The slower it actually dries, the smoother the little petals will be once dry. So I just take some foam that I have soaked in water, and I've added a little short, very, very shallow reservoir of water. I cut the stem at an angle and place in the foam, and I ignore it. That's all you need to do, because it will absorb the water and then dry very, very slowly, and in a few weeks' time, that will be the most perfect dried hydrangea. But hurry the process, and they'll all go very wrinkly. And if you do it earlier in the year, they'll just go limp and die before it's dried. So there you are, that's how to dry roses and hydrangeas, two of the easiest and most popular flowers to dry, and they will last you for months to come.